Martin Gore from Depeche Mode.
The policy of truth, never again is what you swore the time before. Yeah, that's right!
It's different to playing your own shows. I'm not sure. I think I actually prefer. I like some festivals, but overall I like to play to our own crowds. But it's always a bit more of a challenge playing to a festival crowd. But it really depends where you are. Like we played one in Werchter in Belgium, where I don't know if we just happened to play on the last night and everyone had been there for 3 or 4 days, everyone was a zombie, but it really felt like, it was 80,000 people, but they just didn't seem to react like normal crowds do. There are some songs on it. I've said this before, and before the album came out, people said, yeah, of course he's going to say that, because they're probably their 2 most successful albums. But there are some songs on the album that remind me of Violator, and some songs that remind me of Songs of Faith and Devotion, like Heaven, for instance, or Angel. They remind me of Songs of Faith and Devotion, whereas something like My Little Universe and Child Inside, there's something about them that reminds me of Violator a little bit. Yeah, we've been together now 33 years. We started in 1980, released our first single in February 81. I don't know, I think that, if you've got music in your blood, it's difficult to stop making music. And we're very fortunate that we've had a big fan base that have always been there for us. So, we seem to go from strength to strength. I mean, this tour is probably the most successful one we've ever done. Just the number of people we're playing to on this tour is more than probably we've played to on any previous tour. In Europe we played, probably every major soccer stadium on the first leg, and then we'll be going back to play all the indoor arenas, until March for the second leg. Plus, in America, all the dates have done extremely well. We're playing mainly sheds, but a couple of other places as well like this. The question I get asked quite a lot is, advice for a young band. How do they get started? And I think things have changed so much that I really don't have a clue anymore. When we started out, it was the music industry kind of still existed. And you could get signed and you could get a deal, and things like that just are very hard these days. But I don't know about sticking around for 33 years, but I always say that being original is quite important, and having your own unique sound. Well, the oldest song that we play live is Probably Just Can't Get Enough, and it's so different to everything else we do, but the crowd always go crazy when we play it. It stands out as being so different, but it is definitely a crowd pleaser. I can tell you that I'm completely addicted to anything musical, anything that you can use to make music with, or basically that's it. So I'm constantly on the hunt for things, and I went through my eBay phase a few years ago where I was like buying up all old synths. I've got to the point now where things are starting to encroach on my living space at home. Well, fortunately, we use a very different setup live, because the vintage stuff, just wouldn't make it. We put any of it out there in this heat, and chance of it working would be probably 0. On the last record we used a lot of modular synthesizers, and that's a bit too complicated to translate into a live setting. It's like so much patching, and there would be like big gaps between songs, and it's just a little bit not manageable really. So we've had to sample bits and use different sounds and trigger samples. We always say that we don't necessarily like work as a like friends, maybe even. When the tour finishes, sometimes we don't see each other for a few years, so it's more like a family, really, more like brothers. We do have a ritual that we do before every show, which is a kind of circle of something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's a circle. We kind of all get together and hug, and we make some kind of macho sound. But it's not really that macho, but it's a little macho.
I'm a black.